So have you done podcasts before?
No.
Oh, okay.
This was one of Kerry's bright ideas.
Yeah. Put you in the spotlight a little bit.
Yeah.
So, first off, for anyone in my audience who might not know who you are and what you do, in the immortal words of Cyril Black, what's your name and where do you come from?
Karl Hill. I'm a structural engineer, and I come from Leigh over in Lancashire.
Nice. I love it. I was actually over in Leigh with Man Roberts doing some content, watching the lads train at Leigh Leopards.
Right, okay.
Are you a Leopards fan?
Yeah, I'm a Leopards fan. I've been a Leopards sponsor. So I used to be a shirt sponsor. So I was on the sleeve when we won the Challenge Cup.
Nice.
I was actually sat in the roll box when we won the Challenge Cup.
Love it.
And I've got a few stories about that. And yeah, no, we still sponsor the women's rugby league team. Sponsor the captain in the women's rugby league team as well, sort of thing.
Brilliant.
Sponsor Armed Forces Rugby League Day as well, sort of thing.
Nice. So is that like being a big rugby league fan? Was that like a lifelong ambition to get into the sport?
What, to be a sponsor? The sponsor bit came about. I'd sort of fell out of love with football. I'd been a rugby league fan in the past, and I just went down. We sponsored one game, really got into it, thought, yeah, I like this. Benefit is my wife also loves rugby league.
Nice.
In fact, she's worse than me, so I'm at home and I'll be at work, and she will text me the disciplinary, transfers, things like that. But it's great because now, if I'm going watching rugby, she's all right, or she'll come and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She always comes on the table that we have at Leigh, and she just loves the game, so I think.
I love it. I always think with rugby league, and we'll dive into other stuff on this, obviously. I always think with rugby league, it's got like a brilliant product on the pitch. It's like there's no, like I heard Russell Crowe on a podcast talking about it.
Yes.
And obviously he's with, is it the Sydney Rabbitohs? And he was saying there's like no better ball and hand sport in the world than rugby league, which I tend to agree with. That said, Paul Scuttlebutt was talking on the podcast about this. He was saying like it needs more eyeballs, desperately needs more eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
And the more, like, is it that M62 corridor thing that they talk about?
It is. It is stretched. M62 corridor, and then we've got Toulouse and Catalan as well.
Yeah. So, like, from like we're on the Whittle now as we're filming this. Is there like a way of like expanding it out even more? Is there like a strategy to do that? Because it's not like it's easily accessible as rugby union to someone like me who's got young kids. You know what I mean?
No, probably not. I mean, it is. It's one of them. There are teams around here, but there'll be amateur level, Northern Conference, things like that. To get into Super League, it's tough because you're doing that jump from the amateur game up to professional, and it is a big jump. Yeah. I mean, Leigh was always a team that yo-yoed up and down. We came up, dropped back down, and then one season our owner went, right, I'm going for it, and basically recruited a Super League team into the Championship, which was a part-time league. We had a full-time Super League team, and we absolutely stormed it. I think we lost one game all season, so I think.
Yeah.
And then we came up, and then we've stayed up each year from then on.
And how long was that ago?
That was 23. So the season we came up.
Wow, so fairly recently.
Yeah. So the season we came up, everyone said they'll go straight back down. We didn't. We ended up 5th in the playoffs, and we won the Challenge Cup.
I love all that. And was that the first time they'd won anything, Leigh?
No, they've. So they won the Challenge Cup in. I'll have to get these right. 1921, 1951. And then 2023. We always say that was another 50 years because we had 2 years of COVID. So we actually won it 50 years later again.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Because when I went up there, what struck me, the lads were big units. Yes. We were watching them train and we were filming them train. And they were big lads, but they were athletic.
Yeah.
They were stacked. And they could move as well. And even the training was intense. And I just, because the typical, like, I don't know what stereotype I had of it, but they were just absolute athletes, to be fair. I suppose you've got to be like that to be at the top of any game, really.
You do, and it's a fast-paced sport. It's, you know,
Yeah,
I
by
think
nature.
Yeah, I think they'd worked out recently that the ball in an 80-minute game could be in play 67 minutes.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
and then I'm sure they were saying Union was down at sort of like 40, 50 minutes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it is a lot more intense, fast-paced. It's, you know.
I'm sure that was the same in football, you know, like it was like less than half the game was actually in play, which is crazy to think. Why do you think that is? Is that just because it's so fast paced and it's constantly moving?
Yeah, it's the way the game was set up. I mean, originally, you know, rugby league started. It was rugby union, and there was the north-south divide. All the guys up in the north worked down the pits and things like that. So on Saturdays, when they were playing union at that time, they were losing money, so they wanted to be paid, you know, for the shifts they lost. And there was a big divide, and eventually we split off and we became the Northern Rugby Union. And I think it was 3 or 4 years later, you know, we became Rugby League, sort of thing. So, and then the rules, you know, we drop 2 players, you know, we go for the 5 tackles, we drop contested scrums and line-outs. So it is more fast-paced than,
Yeah.
I think Union's more tactical.
So there's no line-outs in rugby league?
No.
Wow, that's amazing. See, I didn't even know that. You educated me on something now.
There you go.
That's amazing.
You need to come down and watch a game.
Do you know what? I was speaking to, Fran and Dave are always there now from Man Roberts, and they're our clients.
Yeah. They've been on our table at Leigh as well.
Yeah. I mean, I always say about Fran and Dave, their work ethic and competitiveness combined together, I don't think there's anything that could stop them from getting where they want to be, because, yeah, they're amazing. I love them. And they've done a lot for me over the last year or so. And they actually do the podcast, their podcast in here, which is great. And then, obviously, they're doing some stuff with Leigh now, and they're doing some stuff with, like, a few charities that we support as well. So, yeah, good people. And then, as well, is it what's her name? I don't know her really well, but she does the balloon arches and stuff.
Mandy Brighton.
That's the one. I met her at an event somewhere in Liverpool, and she was telling me she had to go because she was going to Leigh on the Friday night.
Yeah.
For the kit reveal. And then, funny enough, because it was earlier that week, we'd filmed at the training ground. She said she was going for the kit reveal to start the season, and then Fran and Dave were going as well, and I couldn't go because I was at that event doing that. So yeah, it was it's a small world, really. But Mandy Brighton, yeah, she's a character in herself.
Oh yes, yeah, definitely, yeah. But you know, cracking business she's got. I mean,
Yeah.
She's helped us out. We recently did a developers conference in Leigh Works, where we're based. We got the local MP, the local council, Homes England, and 50 developers all in the room to talk about regenerating the town. Mandy did balloons to go at the side sort of thing, which was advertising us. But what she also did was, on the back of the balloon, she put a charity logo for Wigan and Leigh Hospice, because the following day we were taking them down and we'd done a charity event for Wigan and Leigh, so we could just spin them round, use them again, you know.
Yeah, I love it. So do you put on loads of events like that, do you, in your business?
No, that's the first one we've ever done, and that was Kerry.
Was it?
Kerry got talking.
So does Kerry work, I think I know this, but does Kerry work on a consultancy basis for yourselves?
Yes, she does, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Because when she came on the podcast, her, like, what blew me away, really, was her knowledge and just networking ability in that sector. It was unbelievable. And when we went to Greenmount, I didn't really know Kerry that well, if I'm honest. If at all.
Yeah.
I just knew it because Fran and Dave were like, Kerry's put on this event. And I was meant to get speaking to her. I was meant to speak to her for ages. And then I went to one of her Bold B2B events. Met her. She came on the podcast and she blew me away. Now, fast forward a load of time, I'm actually nominated for Best Local Podcast Award at her.
Oh,
awards. Yeah. Which is completely blew my mind, to be honest. But it's interesting that she works with like companies like yourselves and puts on events like that for businesses like yours. So for anyone watching this, like, give a bit of context on what your background is.
So my background, I'm a chartered civil engineer, so I do civil structural engineering design.
Great.
I've been working now, I was working it out coming in. It's 37 years I've been in the industry.
Wow.
Which is just scary. It scares the life out of me. So I've come all the way through from the times when things were totally different, the industry was totally different up till, the present day,
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about how you've built the company over that time. It's Struktura, right?
It's Struktura. We've been going now, this is our 11th year.
Nice.
I'd worked for various companies. I've been partners in companies and worked on my own. And then a few years ago, I was working for a company which I didn't like. I basically used to just drive around the country to different offices. I just got fed up with it. And one day I went into a company called Align Building Control, who I used to do some checking for. And Andy, who was one of the directors, went, "I've got Align Engineering set up in the background. Just do it." I'm like, "What do you mean, just do it?" He said, "Just do it. Go and do it." So I went, "Yeah, go on then." So I set up Align. It was Align Engineering, and then a couple of years later, we rebranded to Struktura. So,
Okay, cool.
Well, yeah, we've been going now 11 years. So
Cool. That's amazing. That. I know when I was in a former life, I've been self-employed for a long time. But when I wasn't self-employed, doing like a few different roles, there was always like this voice in my head when I wasn't quite enjoying it so much that I could do it slightly. If I could do this on my own, I could do it slightly better. And I feel like I could do it better. And then you get into it, doing it by yourself, and you realise, fuck, this is quite hard.
It's hard work.
Oh, it's hard work, yeah. And I always say to people, like, my big thing is like ideas. So I talk to people. The first question I always ask when people start working with us is, what's your big idea? Because everything starts with an idea. And my first business coach, Peter, who's semi-retired now, he's in his late 70s, multi-millionaire. I think he had like 400 staff or something. But he was my mentor anyway. And I was actually a PT in a former life. Right. And he was my PT client, randomly. And I was coming to a bit of a crossroads where I was like, Peter, I need some advice on what to do. I'm not going to stop coaching you, but I need some advice on what I want to do, where I want to go, career and stuff. And he used to say to me, ideas are big in your imagination, but small in reality. And I was like, I don't understand what he means by that. Just didn't have a clue. And he basically described it to me, and it took a while for the penny to drop with it, that when you think about these like big ideas, they're really big in your head. So when, say, you're in a job that you don't like, or you're in a 9-to-5, or you want to start something else, whatever, and you've got this like big idea in your head, it's like, yeah, I'm going to go and smash it. I'm going to go and like change the world with it. And then when you actually make it a reality and go and do it, it's like, I've got to fill the form in. It's quite small, just like small little tasks every day. And when people say to me what their big idea is now, I always say to them, look, like, you've got to give this quite a while for it to come to any form of success. And we're in our heading into our 6th year, heading into our 7th year this year. And there's been times where I've questioned it, and I've been like, this is just too much. But now you get to a point where you start working with a few better clients, and you start building a bit of a team, and you start getting better clients on board, and all this good stuff starts to happen. And then you're faced with more challenges, and more challenges, and more challenges, right? So how did you find that process of like taking it from like that original idea of building it to 11 years in. How did you find that journey of it?
Oh, it's been tough, and there's been ups and downs and stuff like that. One time we were on that upward trajectory, we were getting staff in, and suddenly it was like, what do we do? There's too many guys here. We're going to have to get rid, and it's the one thing I absolutely hate doing. And it's 37 years. I've worked at various companies, and a couple of cycles of recessions, and it's the one thing they don't teach you on the degree course is how to deal with staff, and the fact that one day you might be getting rid of a lot of guys.
100%.
You've got to make that decision, but you're still sat with them for however many days until it's done, and it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, 100%.
It's absolutely terrible. So now we've gone, right, okay, we'll build this slowly. We've just done a management buyout, so a couple of guys have now bought in to be directors, which is great for me because they're the future. I've only got a few more years left doing this. They can take it on then, sort of thing. They've got that enthusiasm now to run with it.
Would you look to exit the business at that point? So, I don't mean to pry, like.
No, I say I will. They say I won't, because they go, no, you're too invested in it. You love it too much. You'll be there knocking on the door day two, going, can I do something?
Yeah, Adam Jones was actually saying that to me. Like Adam's a really good guy. Business consultants, does exit strategy and everything. And he was like, "What's your idea?" Like he was asking me, what's your plan? Like, where do you want to get to? Because at some point in time, whether we like it or not, we won't be in the business.
Yeah.
At some point, whether that's in our control or out of our control, we won't be there. And I'm 40 now, and I kind of said, when I'm 50, things might look different, and might want to. I just can't see myself ever not wanting to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like when I think about if I was to sell the business today and go and do something else, I don't think I would do anything else.
No, I'm the same. I mean, I'm 60 this year, and it's like, no, I love it. I love getting up in the morning. I love going into work. The job I do, the sites are so varied. You can be here, there, and everywhere. I mean, last week I was down in Dorset, looking at a care home. And 2 days later, I was up in Newcastle, looking at a job on the racecourse. Then I was down in Utoxeter, looking at something on the racecourse. Then I was back home, doing something on a waste site over in Leeds. So it's so varied.
I know. And then I think the average person doesn't quite grasp that as well, of like how varied it can be.
Oh, yeah. We have... so I do a lot with the local schools on in mock interviews and things like that.
Love it.
And you get these kids coming in and you go, right, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know. Most of them want to be a YouTuber. I had one lad who wanted to be a mechanic. Had no interest in cars or anything other than he played it on his Xbox, but he was going to be a mechanic. And I'm going, what about engineering? Well, I don't know what you do. So I started explaining it to him. I went, all right, that sounds interesting. I went, are you good at, oh yeah, I'm top at maths. I'm like, well, why don't you look at it? Why don't you give it a go, sort of thing? He's like, yeah, I've never thought of it. Everyone sees construction and thinks you're on site, and it's not. We're in an office, we're in a design office, we sit there with computers, but we go out, we design things, we go and look and see it built.
You reminded me of a former life here. When I left school, when I worked on a building mason's yard, and I was there for about a year, and then I ended up going to college after a year because I left school and I was that guy. I was like, don't know what I want to do. So when I worked on a builder's mason's yard, I was 16. And then just before I was 18, I went to college. This was like over 20 years ago. Scary to think that, to be fair, but went to college, do a BTEC in construction, and I ended up getting a job with Barratt Homes as a junior architectural technician.
Right.
And I was in the office on Cheshire Oaks, basically learning AutoCAD.
Yeah.
Basically. And I'd done that for 6 years, up until I was 22, 23, something like that. And then in 2008, in the recession, I got made redundant. And that's when I was like, I actually really enjoyed, the reason I got into it is because I enjoyed maths. It was like a lot of like trigonometry, angles, da. And then it was so funny because in 2008, I remember vividly there was no jobs. Like I remember being made redundant and there was nothing available.
Yeah.
Like I was at the job center. They would offer me all these like courses to like start up my own thing and this and that. And I was like, I've got not like, I'm a junior. Like I'm not like a trained, like qualified architect after years of uni or whatever. And like it's funny to think back because I remember like I was like, luckily I was there just over 5 years, so it qualified me for a payout, which was like 2.5 months' wages. Now at the time I was on like a junior wage, so I think it was like I got paid out like 3,700 quid or something, like 2.5 months. It was like it wasn't much at all, but at the time I was living at home and like no responsibilities. I was like, yeah, I've got 3.5 grand. I think I had like a small credit card at the time. I was only like 22. It's scary to think. So I was like, I was looking for a job, but I was in no immediate rush to get a job. And in the process, I was like, just spending all this money. And I was like, fucking hell, I need to like actually like rein this in. So I started going to the gym. And I was like, I love doing the architect stuff, but I just didn't want to be within the four walls.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was there, it was within the four walls. And it didn't really open my eyes to the possibilities of what I could have done if I'd have stuck at it. And I remember about a year before that recession happened, they'd done this project with some company in Canada. And they offered me like a placement to go and live in Canada. And I always think back now to like how different my life would have been at that point in time. Of like, if I had took it. I was like 20 years old, 19, 20 years old, offered me basically a job in Canada. And I was like, no. It's because I just like my own, I think it was just I like my home creature comfort. But so it's interesting you say that. And I think it's right what you say in the sense that kids don't look at it as a thing. And when you're in school and when we're being taught the stuff, like all the stuff about hiring and I've got freelancers working for me now, like video editing and stuff. People don't teach you that like communication of like how to find the right people, how to qualify people properly. It's not necessarily the highest qualified person, it's the best culture fit for the company.
Yeah.
Are they good people? Or do they want to do good? Do they work hard? Are they willing to go the extra mile? Like I said to one lad, I don't want to say, I said, I don't want you to send me CV. Don't send me a CV. I'm not going to read it. I said, send me a little clip of your work, of what you've done. And I want you to come down and I'll take you for lunch. And we went to Nando's around the corner. And that was a better process for me. And I tried all like the typical interview stuff and it was like, I don't know, it just didn't feel right in my head. But I had to learn all that. And I think it's right what you say about that because in one sense, people like us are looking for these good young people coming up. But in another sense, they don't know what they want. So they can't even qualify themselves, if that makes sense.
No, it is scary when I do those interviews and you're asking, what you're doing, what do you want to do, and none of them have a clue. And it's not the be all and end all. You don't go straight away. People do change careers. I mean, we've got a girl who works for us who did 5-6 years as a nursery nurse. And then was looking for something, and we took her on and put her through an AutoCAD and a Revit course and stuff like that. She now does that, and she goes out and scans buildings and stuff like that. Today, she's supervising a lot of guys doing a confined spaces inspection sort of thing. So, big change. So you can change your career, but when they've got absolutely not a clue, what they're going to do, you just think, schools need to do better.
I think so. I think so.
I don't know whether they have the careers teachers they used to have.
Yeah.
But,
I remember vividly when I left school, there was literally a careers place that you could go to, like an actual shop on the high street, where it was literally dedicated to careers, actually. It's funny that. Yeah, I think you're right about schools. I mean, definitely it was a lot different back then when I was in school. But There was definitely like things I did take from school in terms of like making friends, in terms of like sports, in terms of like problem solving stuff and things like that. Navigating yourself around certain topics. But most of the stuff I use now in the business, I would argue that I didn't learn in school.
Yeah.
That said, would I have been able to have the wherewithal to go and do the stuff I've done without school? I don't know, maybe not, who knows. But I definitely think with all this AI stuff coming in and with the way the world is now, I definitely think the school is on the verge of like, the schooling system is on the verge of change, let's say. I think I think it will just change over the next few years. I mean,
it's got to change. You know,
I mean, with AI, with the AI stuff, it's like back then, information was kind of scarce. So if you wanted information, you'd have to like go to a library and source the, references out of a book or whatever.
Tell me about it.
Now,
I started. So when I first started, we didn't have mobile phones.
Yeah.
I think we had a fax machine. We definitely didn't have email and computers. I remember first job when we had one computer in the middle of the office, which was the email machine, and the secretary used to get all the emails off there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I said to the guys, I said it was totally different. I said we used to do drawings, then write a letter and go and get it typed, put in an envelope, sent to where. Wait for a reply to come back, read it, go, right, okay, make the changes.
Yeah.
And they're going, how did you get anything done? I said, well, everything got done, everything got built, There wasn't this, now an email comes in and somebody has to answer it within 30 seconds. And if you don't, somebody will phone you up and go, have you read my email?
Yeah.
Like, yes, but I'll deal with it in a minute when I've,
Yeah, do you think that's took like an element of like patience out of like the way people do business?
Definitely.
Do you find that with like people you deal with?
Everything's instantaneous. Like I said, an email drops and they want an answer there and then.
Yeah. I mean, what happens when information does become basically limitless? Like we've got AI models on our phone, we've got social media, we've got YouTube, we've got Google.
Yeah.
Where information, you can just type something in and you can literally just get the information at your fingertips at any point in time. To the point where I think it was something like someone passed the American medical bar exam through an AI model. It's like, it's mad. Like there's no like, so anyone could essentially qualify in the medical profession in America through ChatGPT answers or whatever, which is bonkers to think. But when all that information does become readily available, how do like kids actually learn? Because it's so abundant. Like I actually put a value on me having to actually go out. I remember being in college and there was like probably 20 people in the class and there was like 4 computers. So not everyone could get on a computer. And I remember literally scanning around the whole library, finding these books, getting to the page, getting to the number, writing it all down. And then my laptop wouldn't work because it was too slow at the time. How do kids actually navigate that now? Like, I mean, do you think there is like a net positive in the way this technology is progressing? And are you seeing that in your industry?
Yeah, but it's one of them where it gets they're too reliant on the software, AI, things like that. You've still got to understand the basic principles behind the engineering.
Yeah.
And don't just take that as the right answer,
gospel,
sort of thing. Yeah.
I found that like sometimes there was like this, I was reading this thing and it was like people are getting sued way more than what they were because they're using AI to basically draw up their case essentially. But like, let's say for example, I was suing you for something and I was asking some AI model, like, this is my case, and it's going, yeah, got a good case, But then you're suing me back and you're asking the same questions of your case and it's going, yeah, absolutely. So what you'd end up with is 2 people on both sides that think they're going to win this case.
Yeah.
And the AI is basically people pleasing them. because they don't want to like say no, you haven't got a case.
Yeah,
So
probably,
you ended up with that. But it's interesting with AI because my brother-in-law works for a subcontractor of Microsoft, and he basically done a survey across the whole country, the whole of America, of what jobs may be at risk or what jobs may be safe, and all the ones that were like deemed as at risk were like sort of just mundane ones, like secretaries, PAs, stuff like that, and all the ones that weren't at risk were physical. So anything where you were physically labour intensive. And I always said, I don't think I'll use AI like to do content creation stuff that we do for businesses. But in the actual creative process now, on going to our computer, we use AI stuff that's saving us probably 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I've probably saved like myself hiring someone to do that, in a sense, for the sake of the cost of the software, which is 20 quid a month. It's like, do you pay for that?
Yeah.
It saves me 10 hours, or do you pay for an employee who might take 10 hours? And then you weigh it up and go, might as well just go for the AI. Do you think the structural engineering and construction industry will be at risk of AI at some point, whether it's robotics or whether it's...
It might do, but it's got to get a lot better than it is.
Yeah.
You know, you see it online and people put it in, and you look and go, actually, no, that's wrong. There's mistakes in there and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you think there's like a what's the way of putting it? It's a lot of admin stuff that it could take.
Yeah, it can do the admin side. You know, can help you write reports and things like that. But you've still got to have that understanding of engineering principles. And you know, big thing we do a lot on old buildings and refurbishments. Well,
No.
AI can't deal with that.
No.
You know, somebody phones up and goes, "You'll never guess what I found on site." Or come and have a look at this. You know, you'll never believe this.
Yeah.
You know? You're not going to type that into AI and it's going, oh, that you need to do this, this, and this sort of thing. You know?
Yeah. So how many people do you got working for you now?
There's 6 of us now.
6.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you're planning on growing that even more?
Yeah, we're probably going to have to look this year for someone else because things have taken off and it's getting busier and busier. And
Maybe Kerry can help you with that.
I'm going to teach her CAD and Revit, and she can start doing some of
that. Yeah. Is CAD like? I mean, I remember CAD years ago. Is it developed much since then? The software.
AutoCAD, no, it got to a peak and it stayed. Then Revit came in, which is still it's Autodesk based, but it's 3D modelling. You know, building information modelling.
It's fascinating to me that, you know.
There's a lot more you can do with it. It's all parametric, so if you make changes, you know, it alters the drawing sheets and stuff like that. So
Love it.
we use it on all our projects now. It's just so much easier. And it's great for clients. You give them a set of 2D plans, they haven't got a clue what you've given them, sort of thing. You give them a set of 2D plans and there's a 3D model in the corner, then they understand, you know. They can actually see it and visualise it, sort of thing. So
does that do like walkthroughs and stuff of the properties and stuff and the buildings?
We can do. We don't normally go into that much detail, but you know we have done it for people.
That's amazing, though.
One of the things we do is we do point cloud surveys, so laser scanning. So you basically come in this room and then a laser will spin and it'll create a model of this in like millions of dots, which we can then draw up. But what the software also does, it throws out a 3D walkthrough. So similar to what you see on estate agents' websites and stuff like that. But the clients love that because they can walk through the building and see where problems are. And we use it now where we'll tag up defects in that and then add that into our survey reports. So they pick a report up and there's a crack at such a point. They're going, oh, where's that? Now they can look and, it's there in the building.
Yeah.
We have a client who's based over in Chicago and we've scanned the whole site. And they love, you know, they can get on there, sit on a Teams meeting with us and walk around the site and go, I want this done here, I want this done, you know.
I love it.
So
that's so interesting.
It's just, it's a byproduct of what we do, but it's probably a more valuable aspect sometimes, than the actual.
The fact that you can have clients over in different cities like Chicago, that's unreal in itself, in a sense that you can walk them through a 3D model over a Teams meeting. It's crazy.
Yeah, we do it. We've got a job on site at the moment in Portsmouth, which is it's an old mental hospital which is being converted into apartments. And as soon as the guys are stripped out on site, we send somebody down. They go and scan it, and we get the walkthrough. So the guys on site will go, "There's a problem," and we go, "Right, let's." So we get it up on screen, and we have a look. Then, if it's something we can't see for some reason, then we've got to go down. But the amount of time it's cut down from doing those trips. And recently, we've done it with Network Rail as well. We did a lot of work on signal boxes, and procedures to go and visit the signal box. It's really complicated and difficult and time consuming. But if you've been in and scanned it and you've got the walkthrough, they don't need to go out again. So they can look at it and go, "Oh, right, okay, I can see what the issue is."
I love it. It's super interesting to me, that. I mean, there's an engineering company with the lads got an engineering company next door. And they got rid of a load of lads back in the last year. I'm gone to a bit of a smaller team, but I don't think they do anything like that. I mean, they're doing stuff on the railways and stuff like that.
Right.
But I don't think they're going into that level of detail with clients, to be fair. Which is, I mean, that blows my mind a little bit. So one question I always ask all my guests is, I wouldn't even say we're in the first pass. We're not. Well, actually, we're not in the first pass of the year anymore. We're in. It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not even in the first quarter. So going into quarter 2 of the year, and for the rest of the year, what are the main goals for Struktura and yourself?
Main goal is to keep growing, build the team up. Definitely, we're going to have to look this year at bringing somebody else in.
Another engineer?
Yeah, another engineer. Probably somebody senior, which, will release me then to do more. I'm supposed to do business development as well. I don't have time because I'm flying here, there and everywhere. Kerry does her bits, but I've got loads of people that I know and I just don't get around to seeing them. Most of mine I do at the rugby,
Yeah.
I invite people down to the rugby. I seem to get invited to, other people's tables at other matches and stuff like that.
I love it.
So, that's my time for doing business development, really.
Yeah. I mean, I ran into that issue myself with this content creation stuff. I mean, we were doing, when we first started out, we'd done like an hour's podcast like this. It would probably take 2 hours to watch it through and edit it and cut it up, and so for every 1 hour you do, you're spending 2 hours creating a thing.
Yeah.
You've got 3 cameras, you've got to chop it all up and everything. So we were doing probably 2 or 3 a week, and then we were doing website videos for companies. We were doing social media content, LinkedIn content. We even done audio books recently, which is a bit of a different one for us, but a really good one. And then now we're using like softwares now that can do that same thing in about 20 minutes. So that for that 2 hour creative process that we used to go through, now done in 20 minutes. So now we're doing 10 to 15 a week. Then we're doing more YouTube and all that. So in that sense, it's saved us time. And it's freed up time for me to actually step into a more business development role, because at the end of the day, the company needs to make money.
Yeah.
Otherwise you can't do it anyway. So if I'm not doing business development and I'm stuck on a computer, so now I've got a freelancer who works closely with me to make sure everything's spot on and everything. But it frees me up. So I know how that feels. Now, for anyone who might have watched this and is interested in what you do, or might want to get involved in the rugby or Struktura, or come and see you, maybe have a consultation or just get in contact with you, where's the best place they can find you?
Either through our website or definitely not our LinkedIn page, because I've still not managed to get control of our LinkedIn page. So
What happened there?
basically we had a sister company, and I think all the details are still with those guys. So it's probably my LinkedIn page is a better way of getting in touch with me, or Instagram. You know, you can get us that way.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. What I'll do is, mate, I'll tag all them links around this podcast when it goes out.
That's good.
I will tag all your social media, your LinkedIn, you personally.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that convo, mate. I really appreciate your time. I always find it fascinating to learn about new businesses that I haven't really come into contact with before. Because I was talking to Fran and Dave about this. Like, their subject matter, obviously a lot of it's like, they can't disclose a lot of the subject matter that they work on.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. But the subject matter generally is quite mundane. Like, no one really cares unless you're in it yourself.
Yeah.
No one cares about a dispute between two partners in a business that no one's ever heard of. Unless you're the people in the dispute. So how do you make, like, I'm always fascinated about how do we make them sort of like topics engaging? How do we make it like appealing to people?
Yeah.
And I think conversations like this really help. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And we are done.
Nice one.
Appreciate it, mate.
That was easier than I thought.
How's it going now?
That was good.
Good.